Hastings Center had as its main focus these 4 research groups. Later there was a 5th on health policy. But it also had other kinds of activities to contribute to the development of ethics in the life sciences. It early on developed a journal called the Hastings Center Report, which has become, some would claim, the premier journal generally in biomedical ethics. So we had a publishing effort with the Hastings Center Report. It was obvious that one of the major topics in bioethics was the protection of human subjects in biomedical research. And early on, we saw the emergence of research ethics committees. They weren't called IRBs yet, but there were committees around that monitored and helped protect human subjects. I actually chaired a tiny IRB at the Hastings Center whenever we would do a small piece of empirical work, which wasn't often. But I was also a member of the Montefiore Hospital IRB as the so-called public member. And so I was oriented to the work of these human subjects committees and realized that many of the members were at best tangential to the field of biomedical ethics. They tended to be people who were appointed by department chairmen to join a committee. If you'd been on the admissions committee and you'd been on some other committee, you'd get an assignment to go onto the human subjects committee at Montefiore. And the people would arrive at the meeting with no background, no orientation to the field. Now, Primer eventually steps into that huge gulf. But at the Hastings Center, I, in talking with other members of the staff, thought it would be nice to do a little newsletter. Talked to Dan Callahan about it, talked to Carol Levine, who was the managing editor of the Hastings Center Report, and at a meeting of some sort, a physician from Yale, who's a serious student of biomedical ethics, and I believe he'd probably already been working in a kind of staff capacity with the National Commission for the Protection of Human Subjects, a very long named committee. A fellow named Bob Levine. And we were chatting, and he mentioned that he thought a newsletter would be useful for ethics committee members, research ethics committee members. I conveyed that I'd been thinking exactly the same thing, and we came up with a model that the Hastings Center would be the institutional sponsor of a newsletter called IRB, that Bob Levine would be the editor, and there was originally 4 associate editors, and I had other things going on, including the work with the Death and Dying group, and later the Ethics and Health Policy group. So I said I couldn't play a major role in it, but I'd be happy to be an associate editor. That was the origin of the IRB newsletter, which is still published to this day.